Oh, hi there. My name is Joffrey, and I want to welcome you to the channel and also the first video of the channel. What I want to show you guys that we're going to do is I'm using this channel to build a pickup truck. And the pickup truck you'll probably notice is in the background. It's a 57 Chevy 3100 pickup truck that we're going to put together on the channel, and I'm going to take you guys along with the adventure. I picked this truck up about a year ago, and it's been sitting in my dad's garage. Thankfully, he's got a spot to store it. And he's been slowly working on the metal pieces of the doors and the body, trying to get them all finished up, which we'll show you guys all about. But the unique thing about this build, which is why I wanted to shoot a video of it, because there's a ton of these trucks online you can see built, is we're doing a little bit of a different powertrain and frame setup than most people use. Most people slap these on an S10 frame, and we're actually going to do something different, completely different, and it's a little more unique, and I'll show you guys what that is in a little bit. But first thing I want to do is I want to take you around all the parts and pieces that are kind of hanging in the garage, show you what we got and where we're at, and then I'll show you what we're probably going to slap it on, which will be pretty exciting. This is a 57 Chevy 3100 pickup truck, and I'm going to show you a little bit around what we got here. So this is the cab that we have, and the cab is actually in pretty good shape. It's got these standard holes that are kind of punched all over the place for all the pieces that we're going to patch up eventually. But you can kind of see where my dad has been in here, and the cab itself wasn't bad, but we did do some patch panels on the floors and the doors and in the cab corners, which took a little bit of time. My dad's been slowly working on this over the year that I've been away at work. So you can see kind of what we got going on here. The doors are kind of shut right now, so I won't show you too much in here, but I'll get you guys inside a little bit so you can see a little bit what we're dealing with. And we got all sorts of cool new dash products for the inside. You see a little bit of the floor that he's been working on down in here, all the extra parts and pieces we've been collecting over the years. It is a small window, which is what we wanted. Both Dad and I agree the small window is the better window to go, so you'll see that. We have kind of a little bit of Johnny Cash's Cadillac here. I believe this is box. We're pretty sure it was off like a 55 or so, but I'm sure a lot of you guys, truck guys, will know that the cabs and the boxes are all pretty much interchangeable. It's really the fenders and stuff and the hood on a 57 that's pretty crazy. So we got these parts in here. The box is actually in really great shape. We're pretty excited about that, and we have lots of fenders and stuff to work with it too. We are eventually going to have to put a floor in it. You can see the floor's obviously not there anymore, which is pretty standard. Over here we got the front clip of the truck, and we do have, we're pretty sure they're 55 front fenders, but we were going to convert the motor 57, and we do have the correct 57 grill, which is good news, and we'll clean that up and it'll be great. So you can see here, we got the hoods over here, and front and rear bumpers are over here as well. So there's our hood, there's our front bumpers, front bumper brackets we've collected, and I'll show you some of the doors and stuff that we've got hanging on the wall over here. Up here we have a couple of the front and rear fenders. Actually, these are all rear fenders that we have stored for the truck that came with it when we bought it. We got a bunch of spare parts for it, which was good. One of the reasons we bought the truck. I'll show you the doors over here. Here's the other doors that we have hanging out for the truck. You notice the truck does have doors on it currently, and my dad's been working on building those doors up internally. So we have these ones in spare as well. I really like these red doors. Hopefully we can make them work, but I think they're a little bit of rough shape. So here she is. This is what we're gonna put the 57 on. This is a 2004 GMC Yukon, and it's a four-wheel drive version, which is pretty good. This is pretty funny because it's my mom's car, so she's gonna lose her car over the build, which she's super thrilled about, but we'll give her something else probably. But yeah, it's seen some better days in some spots. The good news about this truck is it does have a fairly new 5.3 liter fuel injected Vortec in it that we put in. It's got a brand new transfer case in it. It's pretty much been gone through underneath pretty well, but it is a Northeast car, so we're gonna have to do a little framework to it, and you notice that it's starting to show a little bit of age. But and a lot of people are probably wondering why we have put that truck on a truck that has a bunch of rust damage on it, and it pretty much it's what we got laying around, and it's not doing much now. So that's why it's turned into the donor vehicle for the 57. So if anybody needs any parts for a 2004 Yukon, I'll probably have some shortly. But yeah, the whole deal we're gonna do here should be interesting, because these builds have been done before, but they're kind of rare. And when we were looking on doing this build ourselves, we didn't find very good information on how to make it work. So that's one of the reasons we wanted to shoot some video about it and take you guys along the ride, because I know some other people have asked some questions on how to do it, and there's not very good descriptions on how to make this platform work with the 57. So here we go, we're gonna try it. So we do have some parts and pieces we've been stacking up over the year for this build, and I'll show you some of those that are going to go in, and we'll shoot videos on installing all that stuff eventually when we get the build going. But yeah, this is the vehicle that we're going to put it on. Step one is going to be to remove this body off and then see what we got to work with. We do want to do some things in here too. We're going to do a lot of gas line, brake line work while we're in here when the body's off of it, because it'll make it much easier. And then we'll go from there. Let me show you a little bit about the car itself. I'll show you what we're going to do. Hopefully it's unlocked, and it is. But yeah, the interiors are really good. These are actually the seats that we're probably going to put in the 57. That's the plan anyways. All the dash, everything will be gone. It'll be left with the body. We are going to try and save those seats, mainly because they have the seat belts already built into them, and it's something we don't have to modify into the new truck. That's the plan anyways. We'll see how that goes. So I'll show you underneath the hood here. It's a standard standard 5.3 liter Vortec motor. This one probably only has maybe 20-30,000 miles on it, because we did swap this one in with the one that was tired. Like I said, it has a new transfer case in it, and we'll go from there. The fun part is going to be making this guy fit inside that new front fender setup and the front cowl, which will be interesting, but we're going to do it. So let me show you some of the other parts we got. Over here is our stack of parts we've been storing up for the build. We do have a vintage air system that we're going to put in the truck for air conditioning, because air conditioning is nice. And then these three boxes here are actually part of a pretty cool system. It's called Easy Chassis Swap, and they make adapter kits to put these bodies, the 57 body, onto a Tahoe frame. So we bought the adapter kit for it, which we're going to put on, and we'll shoot videos putting that on. This part I think is more vintage air. I'm not 100% sure what's in there, but yeah, you got the car lift over here. It's got my truck on it currently. We're fixing a piece on that, and I'm going to pull that guy off, and we're going to get the Tahoe in here and then start ripping the body off of it and see how deep the rabbit hole goes. You can see that we kind of got the front taken off here. We got all the front fenders off here. Got the radiator support out here. We did get the wiring disconnected for the body, because that'll eventually be coming off the frame. We got the rest of our wiring all tucked up here in the motor, because that'll all stay there hopefully with the frame itself. We did get a lot of the body mounts unhooked underneath the vehicle, which I can show you guys here. I'll take the truck up in a minute and show you where we're at. But yeah, it's going along pretty smooth. I didn't shoot a lot of video of this because you can see tons of video online of people ripping these Yukons apart, and it's pretty self-explanatory. Just get your guns out and hit it. But once we get the frame off from underneath the body of this truck, the videos will get a little more interesting. So we'll start actually showing you what we're doing to line things up with the 57. So the goal I think today is to try and have the body separated from the frame. Like I said, we do have the body mounts all unhooked underneath here, so we are working on that. We do have a couple more cables we have to unhook here. We still have to get the accelerator pedal out of the cab here. We still have to unhook the shifter cable down on the transmission. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, and we also still have to unhook the gas cap back here. We still got to unhook all this, all the gas for the fuel tank, which we're hoping we can stay. We'll keep in there. Yeah, and then we're gonna peel the doors off here because I do have to get in here to get the front captain seats out, we are going to use these seats up here, hopefully, for the 57. Because mainly like they have the seat belts already in them, and we have them, so we're going to try using those first. But I will have to get underneath the dash in order to get some of the gas pedal and stuff out of there for the 57 as well. So yeah, I just want to give you guys a quick update on where we're at. I'm going to shoot a little more video. I'll probably definitely shoot video of the body coming off because that'll be fun. A quick tip, if you're ever dismantling one of these trucks, make sure that you actually move the power seat into a spot where you can get the bolts out before you yank the motor out, because once the power is gone on those, it's really hard to move these, which I just watched a video on how to actually move these without a battery in the truck. So I might show you how I do that real quick. But yeah, pro tip, if you're gonna keep your seats, take your seats out before you pull the battery. Okay, yeah, hope you guys are smarter than me when it comes to that. So here's how we solve the problem of having a seat in here. I can't get to the bolts because I can't move the power seat because the whole front of the truck is gone. So we gotta come up with something else. So we're gonna hot wire the seat to move on its own. I'll show you how to do that. So what you wanna do is, because we're kind of tearing this truck apart, I don't really care about the wire harness, so use your own discretion on how you want to fix this. But what I did is, if you go underneath the harness, underneath the seat, and pull it out, I cut it off from the main harness because I don't care, and I'm going to rewire it in the new truck anyways. But you know, there's a big orange wire, there's a big black wire, and that is your power and ground for the power seat. So I hooked it up to my battery charger. Red goes to orange, black goes to black, and now that is turned on. If we come over here and use the power seat, ta-da, it works. Now I can get to those back bolts, get the seat out so I can get the brake pedal and the gas pedal out, and we'll keep going. So yeah, there's your little tip. Like I said, you could hot wire just by splicing into those wires if you didn't want to destroy your harness, but in my certain case, I didn't care about the harness, so I killed it. So, but yeah, there's your little tip. But now what we're gonna do is, now I have to get this out, which is the brake system. What we're gonna do is we're gonna unbolt it from the backside, slide the whole thing out as one piece, and then hopefully be able to use that somewhere in the new truck. We'll see how it goes. But first I gotta get back inside the cab, get underneath. There's 4 bolts, hold it on. I also have to get out the throttle pedal, the accelerator pedal, the go fast pedal, because our motor is throttled by wire. So we gotta save the gas pedal in order to hook it up to the new system. So I'm gonna get back up underneath here and do the 4 bolts, pull this brake system out, and hopefully not break it, and we'll see how that goes. So here we go. God, it's a long son of a bitch.
Yeah, it is. It's not a Suburban.
I know. So, here's where we are now. We're missing some parts because they're all over here. So we got the body off the frame. What'd you find? Oh, acorns. This is my dad, by the way. Say hi.
Hi, I'm Dad.
So we got the frame off. We're gonna probably wire brush this thing all up and clean it up and go through it. Yeah, it's much bigger than you think it is. It's a big frame.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy. But yeah. So anyway, there's what it looks like before a 57 Chevy goes on it. Hopefully. All right, so now we're gonna pull this thing outside. This is day 2, by the way. Welcome back. And give this thing a little bit of a pressure wash. See what we're dealing with, because it's definitely a little rustier than we thought it was gonna be, but I don't think it's unsavable. So. Here she goes. That was quite a project getting that thing off the lift, but we got her done. We'll probably hang on to this for a little while in case we need some parts off of it for anything for the new truck, but I feel like we pretty much got it all. And then you'll see once he gets this thing clear here. I'm pressure washing on this thing, and it's coming along pretty good. A lot of scaling coming up on it. It is pretty a little rusty, but it's what we got, so we're gonna use it. We might do a little work with some of these brackets here. Just kind of, I'm gonna wire brush the whole thing, and the whole thing's gonna get painted. But yeah, we're getting along with that. So there's the rest of that thing. Gonna go get stuck out in the field somewhere for now. Couple days now grinding and sanding and needle gunning and getting all the rust off this thing. I'll show you kind of what we got here. So I've spent some time for sure needle gunning and wire brushing this frame. I have some paint coming tomorrow to like a rust converter to convert this all back over. We'll paint the whole frame and get it all nice and pretty. My dad has really been working hard. We got all the passenger side original body mounts are all ground off and gone to make room for the new ones, which are right here. This is the new kit that we got from Easy. It was Easy Cab Conversions, and these pieces here will end up bolting in here just like this to make room for the new cab to get put on the truck here. So I'll go a little more detail on this kit once we get a little farther along, and then we get the pieces in here all tacked on and showing you. He also did a lot of work to the front end. You have to really chop the horns on this quite a bit and make a lot of room for this new bracket for the front, but this is great because it makes room for the front fenders to bolt on, the front radiator support, the front bumper, everything for converting this over to a 57, which is perfect. I'll show you the other side too. This side, we got this body mount all cleaned up. This other piece will go right here, which is right here. Ta-da! And that'll go right there, get tacked on, and that'll be the front cab mounts for the 57. And then the rear mounts are back there getting ready to come on. But you see we got this all cleaned up. This is where the rear mount will bolt on as well, which does the rear cab mount, and it also does the front mount for the box when you put the box on here as well. So I'll let my dad get a little farther along on this. I'll probably actually shoot a video of him explaining how all this works and how all the pieces went together. A little more detail on that. A couple of things we are waiting on. We did decide to redo some of the fuel lines that were in the truck because they were in pretty rough shape. My dad had already done the brake lines on this vehicle when it was still a Yukon. But some of the gas lines down this area were really rough shape. And we wanted to get them done while it was easier, obviously with the cab off of it. So we got those fuel lines to be here tomorrow. We'll get them all hooked back up and in here. But today is a really, really exciting day because it's actually my birthday for one. So yeah, happy birthday to me. But today we're actually going to get this frame and we're gonna get the body pieces and we're gonna actually set all the body pieces on the frame temporarily. We're just gonna tack weld some of these mounts here that we have for the easy chassis solution. We're gonna put the cab on. We're gonna try and get the front clip on. All in place to kind of see what this thing is going to look like temporarily. Obviously, it's all going to come back off because we got a ton of work to do as far as master welding all of these pieces back on once we get them all in perfect place, once they're clamped in place. And also, we got a lot of front clip work to do. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get this thing buttoned up, put the rear wheels back on it. We're gonna roll this chassis out and then roll our cab in here, get it up on the lift and get ready to drop it in on the frame. So I'm gonna switch you guys up so you can see a little bit of that, but I will take you in more detail once we kind of get the cab in here and I'll get my dad done here too. He can explain a bunch more of the frame mounts that we're working on. And yeah, give you guys an update on how this is going together, which so far, honestly, this conversion has been so smooth. We've done a lot of other ones in the past with like frame modifications and it's so much work. This one so far has been a cakewalk with this easy chassis conversion that we got. Well worth the money just in saving time converting this thing over to a 57 frame. So let's get you guys set up. Let's move some stuff around in the garage and let's get ready to get this thing going. Okay, so we have the cab inside and we have the Tahoe frame here. And once you look around, you'll see that we do have the easy chassis front bracket all tacked in here. And that'll hold the radiator and the front clip. And if you come back this way, here's the front cab mount. We have the original body mount out, which we are gonna swap out. We're just using these for mock-up. And then it comes back here to the mid-frame mount, which has the rear cab mounts on here. And then this is for the front of the box. And that comes all the way back here into this mount, which is the rear cab mount here. And also for the rear bumper will slide in here. So one thing to take note on this easy chassis conversion system that we really like is that this is kind of the fixed point right here. The front body mount is a fixed point of this whole system. And if you come back here to the midpoint, all of these are really designed well. They have slop joints in them so that these can all pivot, slide back and forth to line the whole cab and the front of the box up. And the same thing back here on the rear end. So everything is kind of based off of the front mounts right here and right here for the cab. And then everything else is all adjustable to make everything lined up. Even the front radiator supports here, which we kind of just got tacked in the side right now, they slide right in this bracket here, and you can adjust that all to make your front clip all line up with the cab. That's all fixed, which is really nicely designed. And really the installation so far has been a dream. So, but yeah, let's get this bad boy up on the lift. You can see the nice trailer system my dad set up here so we can roll it in and out, which is super handy. Yeah, let's get this on here and see what we're looking at.
Slightly sexy, a bit deranged. Slapped a bandit on the outbound one gone train. You're an unsolved mystery, constantly challenging me, but I wanna hear.
All right, so we have it with a frame underneath the cab. We are slowly starting to try and line things up down here. They're pretty close, but not close, if that makes sense. So we're getting there. One thing we did find that we're working on right now, and it does say this in the instructions for the piece that we have, is we do have to modify the back cab corners in order to get these brackets inside the cab, which it does say we have to do that in in the instruction manual, we just kind of glazed over that part. So we're gonna pick it up, zip these off, and then see if we can get this thing somewhat sitting on the frame. So here it is. It's sitting on the mounts and the new system. We did have to do a little bit of trimming down in here to get the body mounts to fit. Obviously, this is all just kind of sitting in place. Nothing's bolted in right now. But we got that all there. And that is pretty rad. Look at that. Tons of clearance on the back of the motor. You can get here. I think there's more clearance here than there was on the original car it was on.
Way more.
You can get down in here, super easy. So there's plenty of room. If you look inside here too, look at this transmission. Look at all the room you have with this here. That little 4L60 fits in there so easy. There's plenty of room in there. We did throw a seat in and sit in it because we had to, and that works out really, really well. So, but yeah, the back motor, the back body mounts lined up like almost perfectly right out of the box. Look at that. So we're gonna get some new body mounts in here, get these lined in, work on the bolts. But that is super impressive for literally almost out of the box.
Hasn't trimmed that much out of the cab.
Yeah, there's the little piece we did trim out of the cab. You can see right here in order to get that new piece to fit down in there. It's not a big deal. Once you get the box in here and cover all this up, you'll never even know those are missing. And it does actually say that in the instructions you have to trim the cab right here and right here. So that's not a surprise. It was for us because we didn't read that far in the manual, but that went extremely smooth. That is super smooth. Look at that. That is going to be so rad. I'll go show you the other side a little more. This door actually works a little better as of right now. So yeah, look at that. Look at that. That is rad. It's going to be so cool. Tucks a tons of room on the back of this 5.3. So anybody trying to do this conversion, so far, this is 100% the way to go in my book. All right, so after a long day of thrashing, check this out. Look at that. How cool is that? Pretty rad. What do you think?
Well worth it. I'm amazed at how well everything fits.
Let's check this out. Now, a lot of this is just, to be fair, a lot of this is just held on with bubble gun zip ties right now. But we did want to get a mock-up of everything on the truck today for my birthday, which was super cool. And also just to kind of piece out where we're going so we can keep some motivation when it gets harder. But check this out. This worked out so well. There is a ton of room in here for this 5.3 and everything that's going to go in here. We got a bunch of all the ECM and everything's all tied up in here. That'll all get mounted up in here when that gets all cleaned up. That came out super rad. We got the cab all sitting on its mounts on top of the...
Gotta show the transmission hole.
Yeah, and then if you look in here, check out the room that you have on this transmission tunnel. There's no problem with clearance in there. Like you can almost go flat floor in here with that. Which after we kind of got this put on, we kind of realized with the frame, with the Tahoe frame having the dip in here and the way the mounts are made, it does, we think, raise the cab up quite a bit from what it would have been if it was on the 57 frame. Because the 57 frame is a straight frame, and this one has a dip in it. So the way the mounts are made from easy chassis, we think does pick it up quite a bit, almost like a body lift, if you would. But the bed was really interesting for us because we're not 100% sure if this is a 57 bed. We're kind of leaning on the no side, mainly because the bracketry that we have for our bed here is supposed to be over here for these brackets to go through, and it bolts through here, but there's no way that lines up for us on either end. So we're not sure if these brackets are supposed to be moved. It doesn't say anything about that in the instructions, but we ended up putting this bed, which we said we're not sure which one it is. We ended up putting it straight on top of this frame mount with bypassing these bushings you're supposed to put in here. And honestly, it fits perfect. So even with the front brackets up here, we kind of put some little pieces of wood up in here like the wood frame is going to be, and they actually line up like dead nuts perfect on that mount. So we're kind of inclining that maybe we'll just put a little bit of like a 1/4 inch or an 1/8 inch rubber washer or something in between there just to give the bed some isolation from the mount. But really it lines up like a champ, because even like these lines up here, you know, are pretty much on the money where we wanted to be. So interesting. I said, we're not entirely sure if this was a 57 box when we got it. It's this truck is a little bit like Johnny Cash's Cadillac. It's a little bit of everything. So, but it looks pretty cool sitting on that thing. Pretty amazing. And also, like I said, we were a little bit shocked at how tall it ended up being, because originally when we were kind of putting this concept together, I was sold that we were going to have to put like a 4-inch or a 3-inch lift kit in this thing just to kind of give it the stance that we want. But after getting this thing on here, it is definitely tall enough, which is great. Because I'll show you kind of the step here. But that ended up working out really, really well. So overall, really, really great day. Now all I have to do is take it all off and then make it work permanently.
Piece at a time.
But yeah, that was honestly for a great day, for a great mock-up. It looks awesome. It's going to be a really cool project when it's done. Now it's just the other 9,048,000 things we got to do to it. So we'll keep going from here. All right, so that's going to wrap up this first video on the 57 build. As you can see, I'm actually back in my home garage here in Atlanta, Georgia. I got to get back to work. Got to pay for this truck somehow. Anyway, just wanted to give you a little update. It's going to be just a minute before we get back to another video of the 57, mainly because I'm back here and I have to get to work. My dad's slowly going to crank away on it some more while I'm gone. He's going to do a lot with the brakes, the brake pedal, the steering column, and all that. I do want to shoot a bunch of videos of the Dakota digital dash going in, the vintage air going in, and fire it up for the first time, you're ready to go. The goal for the truck, though, I'll tell you, the pin in the calendar is to have it done and ready for Power Tour 2023. That's one of the goals that we have with the truck, to try and take it on Power Tour so everybody can take a peek at it, get ideas, tell us what we think they did wrong, which we can argue about. But like I said, if you guys really like the video, if you want to see more about the 57, please like and subscribe. Keep up to date. It might be just a minute before we get another video up, just because of timing and other commitments that we have, but stay tuned. We will get it done. We will show you guys more about it. Thank you again for watching this far. If you guys have any questions on the build or anything you think you want to know more about, please let me know and I'll shoot some stuff on it as far as we can tell you what's going on with it. Thank you again, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we'll see you in the next one.